All right. Just getting everything set up. It's been a wild morning, guys. So, I am using the AstroLab, except for I'm using my Osmos running through the AstroLab, but everything you hear musically wise is gonna be. Now, I'm not sure if you hear. Let me see something here. Yeah, see, you're hearing just the speaker. Let me see if I can turn on. Where is this one? So I'm trying to get this set up where I can play it until I get a audio interface where I can play with this stuff live. It's gonna be what it is for now. So I'm trying to get you guys a visual. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, so why are we not hearing it through there? Oh, you know what? I believe it's because the MIDI is turned off. There we go. That should be it. All right. I'm going to turn the speaker off here because I don't want doubling sound, even though I do like using the speaker kind of for just messing around. So I'm going to say this, the Astrolab is phenomenal. I hated the full versions. Now, I only tried the 61 and I didn't like it. But I'll tell you why. I'm very picky on the key bed, especially when you're getting a full 61 or 88. If the key bed isn't good and you're paying that much money, then I have problems. And I thought the 61's key bed very much was like a cheap synthy key bed. It didn't feel like Fatar, really nice. And I thought for that kind of money for something that you'd be performing with, you would have a better key bed. That's just my take. But I do not dislike Arturia sounds. I use them all the time with pigments, with I enjoy their mini D that they have, and what's the other one that I like so much? The Prophet 5, I think that they have is really cool. And some of their other sounds just in general. So let's see. I was just messing around with something this morning. Just so you guys can kind of. Well, I thought it was showing what I was playing out here. It's showing this one note, but not showing the rest of the notes. Okay, weird. So when I'm using this Osmos as the MIDI controller, it's not showing the notes. It shows one note. Oh, there's another one. And maybe it's just harder to see for me. I don't know. Maybe I'm the exception to the rule here. But let's see if there's a way to expand this. No, I don't want to panic. I just want to expand it. Trying to see if I can get it where you guys can see it a little bit better. I think there's a way up in here to do it. Yeah, resize window, 100%. All right, that's better. All right. What's up? What's up, Goo Doggy? I think that's how you pronounce your name. Goo Doggy. Good to see you, man. So inside of the AstroLab, let me say this: they do have artists like Bruno Mars and Michael Jackson, and um, there's a ton of them. Boards of Canada and different artist presets. So it's in the board that you get, and this is one from Chick Corea that I'm looking at. There's Daft Punk, David Bowie, Doors, Duran, Ed Sheeran, Shape of they call it Shape of Decay. This is it right here. So it's like the what's the Shape of You? I don't know how to play that song because I do listen to it, but I don't really practice pop music really. But that's the Shape of You sound. So that's what I was looking at today was just the presets in here. There's Pink Floyd, Genesis, Gorillas. I love the Gorillas. There's some bass. Like here's a Dirty Harry lead. Feels good bass. Hold on, let me switch to it. So yeah, so these are the artist presets right here. I think this is the they got it feels good bass, feels good guitar. So that is that. There's all kinds of ones here. Journey, Led Zeppelin, Marvin Gaye. Let's see what the Marvin Gaye stuff is. Heard It Through. Heard It Through the. I guess it's supposed to be like Heard It Through the Grapevine. I don't really know how to play Heard It Through the Grapevine, to be honest. But one of the cool things that I like about the AstroLab 37.2 is the headphone amp in this thing. All the outputs are really loud, and I mean loud in a good way, like not in a bad way. But that's rare because usually you get headphone amps. Like I know on the Osmos, the headphone amp is kind of weak. It's not, and it's way more expensive for an Osmos than it is this. But it's like they could have made it a little bit stronger. They kind of weak sauced on that for sure. But yeah, let's look at a few more of these real quick. Michael Jackson, Smooth Criminal Hits. Beat It Groove. That's for Billie Jean. That's the gong. Beat It Rose. And let me say, everything does sound good. I would say it if it was bad, believe that. Oh, they got some Prince. Let's see what they got. Die for Controversy Polly. That's like the Prophet 5. Dude, that sounds like Thriller almost. Yeah. Party like it's 1999. I used to know how to play that song, but it was on guitar. I don't remember on keys how I would play it. I have to look it up. So in my opinion, the brass, the Prophet stuff, the Moog stuff sounds really good. Pigment sounds good. And if I'm not mistaken, I'm looking at the keyboard, though it doesn't show it on the screen for this one. But this is let's see if we go to, how do we edit the sounds? I know you can edit, I just don't remember where it's at. Let's press edit on the. But yeah, you can edit the sounds on here. I was trying to remember where that is. So these are the artist sounds. But anyway, let's get back out of here. And yeah. All right. So I know you can't see the keyboard, and I was gonna put it up, but until I get a actual audio interface, which is on my to-do list, I'm just very picky and don't want to spend money on something if I don't really like it. So that's the thing. All right, so let's get out of these and we'll go back. There were a couple that are really, the Chick Corea stuff is really cool. Well, primarily because I like jazzy stuff and, oops, that's the wrong one. One of the pianos inside of here is my favorite. It's the one I started with, the Piano Forte Dark. I think it's one of the best. It's basically the American piano, and then they just um, change the mic position, the dynamics. Because let's see, let's go to the American piano just to see. Piano. Here's the American one. Well, I was gonna be on the American one. That's still the same one. Oh, let me see if I can get. I don't know why it's not. There we go. American Grand. It's a little more brighter versus the one we were at previously. Pianos, not Black Forest. This one. There's the mic position, the dynamics. So this is what it's mapped to, but when you go in to edit, you can look at the other stuff that's set on. Right now, I'm just looking at it as a link so you guys can see. You're seeing basically what I see. These are the knobs that I have on the AstroLab to be able to adjust. And that's what, yeah. So here's the master. Literally straight across is the same knobs. And then you can edit each effect. So you can do that directly on the keyboard without even touching the computer. I'm just using the computer because I don't have access to a interface to show you guys. But same thing. So I'm playing that directly on the AstroLab, and then I jump back on to the big keys playing if I want. Same thing. I just like using my Osmos because I like the key action is better. The key action on the Arturia AstroLab 37 for mini keys is actually really decent, but don't expect a lot. But the cool thing is you can go in and adjust the settings. So I recently changed it to, instead of it being a light key action, I changed it to a heavy because I have fat fingers and I like to press down harder. So, and I find for me that's the best. And then you can set the aftertouch to like, instead of it being linear, you set it to like exponential, I think is what they call it. But anyway, yeah. So that's what I'm doing there. All right. So, and you could tell I'm not, even though I'm using the computer here, I'm not in a DAW. I know some people don't want to work in a DAW. You don't have to. Um, and you can record if you have a skip back or some type of device where it allows you to record on the computer, you could do that. So, for instance, I could open up Koala. I'm just gonna put Koala over here. Let's get a new one, just so I don't. So here's a new one. You can obviously see my voice is coming through here too. We're gonna go in and change the settings on audio. And instead of having it be the source here, we're going to use the instruments tab. Now that's set up through loopback on my screen. So here's loopback instruments. And you'll see I have my favorite plugins that I can use outside of a DAW all in here. And then this is it running through. So now that you see it running through there, you won't see my voice moving this meter. You'll only see the keys that I'm pressing. So if I press here, now I can play. All right. And then I have this. And then I'm going to go ahead and go crop. I think this should be, see, let's tap the tempo in, take that off. I'm going to go 170. Let's go 170. I mean 170. We're going to go 70. We're going to make this at least 4 bars, but it might be 8. Let's stretch it. Make this a little bit bigger so we can see. Okay, it's showing 4 bars. All right, so take the time, stretch off. This is, if we'll see if this works because it didn't work the last time I did it, but we're gonna try it anyway. All right, so if I set a 4-bar sequence in for this, let's just make sure that it's snapped to the 16th. All right, I should be able to resample that by going here, resample loop, and it puts it here. It'll cut it off at the right point for you. So now if you go back to this one, it should be set as a perfect loop. So we'll turn loop on, hold. Now here's the problem I've been having with the desktop version. Now mind you, it's free right now at this very moment of recording. But you'll see it's not playing it. That's a bit frustrating. So it's like it's crashing the system. So I'm going to close it out, reopen it. And it works. So able to step away from. Yeah, man. You don't. I mean, people get caught up in this. I don't want to work in a DAW, and I get it. It feels sort of like you're boxed in. You're not really boxed in at all. For me personally, it doesn't bother me one bit to be in a DAW because I care about the sound more than I do the workflow. I think the workflow matters, but like anything, when I started with Koala, I hated Koala. It took me probably 6 months before I was like, Koala's my favorite thing. Same thing with the SP404. I think I returned it twice before I committed to it. And then when I committed to it, it's not the greatest workflow, but it worked. And I realized I could do it. And then I was proud of myself for at least trying, right? So that's kind of the same thing here. It's like anything you use, you're going to have to commit yourself to it and learn it. It's cutting off the sound a little early. So so that's where I wanted to cut is right there. So we're going to zoom in and that's where we're going to chop it. Crop. Now we should have the perfect loop. We'll time stretch it. It's a little off, you can tell, but I'm playing naturally. I'm not like playing to a the 70 BPM. So this could be wrong. I mean, this could be 72 BPM. Time stretch. It's too fast. Try it again. Turn on the loop. Obviously, I could play this better, but so number one reason why I don't want to get caught up in loops is because that's exactly where you'll end up in, is just being in a loop. And for me, that is frustrating. And I've done that for a while. That's why I have so many sample packs that come out because I'll get caught up in a loop and I make a loop and I never finish the song. So you gotta either you immediately start on finishing the song or you gotta get into a different workflow. That's where the DAW has benefited me personally. I'm not stuck in a box where I'm like trying to work on just a loop all the time. And then I find myself making more music. So I was able to put out like what, 6 albums last year because I got myself out of a box. So I mean, 6 albums is crazy in a year. I'm not saying all my albums are like going to Grammys or something like that. I don't make music for that. I make music just because I love it. But the point is, you can accomplish so much more when you get out of the box. So, what's one way to get out of the box but still have the box like features? Well, that's, something like Koala. You sort of have a box feature, but you can still expand. You can export your samples to a DAW, or stems rather, I should say, to a DAW and finish in the DAW. That's the cool part. All right, so let's see another thing here. I've shown this before. If you set the BPM, if you need a count in, it won't record the click. So you can do this, turn it on. Right? So let me do this. cool. All right, so we're gonna cut this out. I'm gonna make an intro. I'm gonna show you guys how I like to work in Koala, and that's building the parts. So we're gonna crop. Now what I'm gonna do here is I'm going to enhance this by just increasing the volume. So you could normalize this, right? You could go in here and just click normalize, and there you go, and hope for the best. That actually turned out pretty good. So watch what I'm gonna do now. I'm gonna go in here and normalize this. We're gonna crop this. You need to crop it almost to perfection. So you want to do zooming in. I'm not gonna worry about it so much, but I'm just telling you to zoom in when you do this. Crop. Keep this one, normalize this one. This is a little work. Yes, it is. It definitely is work. Crop this one. Because somebody was saying you can't make, they wish they had a linear sequence in here. And I was like, what? So watch. Before I mess this one up, I'm going to pull this one here. Make another copy. That way I don't mess up the original if I need to go back to it. There we go. We're going to crop this one. So these are fine. This one needs to be a little louder. Let me see if I hit normalize again. There we go. Normalize this one again. Watch this. Crop here. This is sample chopping is pretty much what I'm doing, right? Taking the parts. Crop. And then you can normalize this again. Now we're going to put the parts in order, keeping the same tempo. So it's a 4-bar loop. Not 4-bar loop. I'm tripping. Go back to the beginning. You can hit stretch. You can see it's 2 bars. So use the stretch to help you determine what it is. Here's the intro. We're going to turn this click off for right now so I don't irritate myself with it. This is the first part. It's 2 bars. So what is 2 bars split in 4 ways? That's what it is. There it is. So now you have all right, so let that be the intro. I would normally not cut this off. I would extend this. So this last part might be like, what did I do? And maybe extend that part. What's up, Crazy Rabbit? Good to see you. Yes, find what works for you. 3 album. You knocked out 3 albums in the last month. No, I knocked out 6 albums in, well, maybe I did them that fast, but I knocked out like 6 albums in a year. Not in a month, I wish. But yeah, 6 albums in a year, which is still crazy because some people put out 1 album every 2 years. Some people put out, maybe they do an album every 3 years. The point was, I'm not doing vocals either, so that doesn't really matter. But the idea is whatever you do to get music out, if that's what you're going to do. If you're just putting your music just for fun to play around, get yourself an instrument you like and just have fun and play. But if you're doing music because you want to put music out, you need to actually finish music. Otherwise, it's just like a bunch of loops sitting on your desk and you never do anything with them. And for me, that gets boring quick and then I'll quit. So I'm just speaking on my own. What's up, Ali Star? Good to see you. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Goo, I think it's Goo. Goo Doggy. Goo, I might be wrong on that. But anyway, yeah, it's the idea is to finish something. I'd see too many people start projects and never finish, and it annoys me because you want to hear what they're doing or what they're creating, but they lose the juice midway because they get stuck in a loop. doing the same thing. So this is a bad example of right here, but you get the drift. You can chop the sample like that. Now you can get rid of this if you want to, or keep it if you want. I'm gonna just get rid of it. Now watch this technique I'm gonna show you right now. All right, so a lot of people don't know this. This is the deep dive moment. Drop a sample here. If this sample is timed perfectly, I drop a sample on top, and notice add to the end. Do it again. Add to the end. Do it again. Add to the end. Now look, I just recreated the same sample. There it is. So now you can get rid of all this. You don't need it. Or you could resample that if you wanted to. I'm not. Just get rid of it. Now you got your space saver right there. Go into here for your 2-bar loop. Throw it in. And there it is. Intro. Next part. Now I took longer than what I would do on a normal basis. Let's play some parts. So here we go. There you go. Play to the one so you know where to stop it. Now, you should do this to the tempo if you want it to be perfect on whatever, but I'm just showing you. So if this is your, let's normalize it actually. You said you're always stuck in the loop, Alistair. Yeah, I used to be that person, but I got out of that when I got in a DAW because the freedom was there. It shows you the freedom. I'm not, and stay away if you're a loop minded, get stuck in the loop person. Stay away from like even like Ableton with the why I don't use that looping mode is because what's the point? I'm trying to get out of the loop. I'm not trying to be stuck in the loop. So force yourself to commit to doing it in a DAW like workflow, and then you will get out of the loop. So that's the thing that's funny to me when people say, I want to get out, I don't want to keep making loops or I want to finish something. And I'm like, you're never going to finish something if you do the same thing over and over and over. You're going to have to switch it up and do some other workflow that gets you out of that loop. Or, especially if you know you're not the committed type, like for instance, here's a loop here, right? Let's say I go export. In Koala, you can export the stems, right? Or you could export, let's say, to an Ableton drum rack or Ableton Live set. Well, if you do that, you're going to put yourself back in the loop. You're still in the loop. So just export it to the sequence or the sample or whatever, and then take those and drop them in a track and start building the song. But when people say you can't use Koala for building the song, that's not true. If you look down here, they have a sequence song mode. So you can sequence the song. You can also record the song. So see here, record song, hit record, and you can play the song live while you're doing it, throwing your effects over it. Using this or the mixer. Or if you don't like these effects, then obviously, you're going to have to use the DAW to finish it out. But I like to put the bit cooker on, turn the sample rate to 3200, set the bit rate to 12, hit enter, put that on the master, and then I have, it's got like a 1200, the SP1200 type vibe to the master of the chain, right? All right, so that's one sample. Let's move past that so we get out of the loop because we're talking about moving out of that. Let me read a few comments and then I'm gonna do the next part. We're doing open heart. We ain't doing open heart surgery. Yeah, that is true, but there is a measure of music that is a math to it. So there is some surgical stuff that you can do. Now, if you're a perfect person who plays perfect timing and does everything so well, that is great. But the average person isn't, right? So you're talking to one or two geniuses that can do that kind of stuff, but not everybody's on that level. So let's respect the levels that everybody's on, right? Everybody's different. So back to the clicker. Let's go over here. We're gonna do a new sequence and just hit click so we can have a metronome going. And let's play to the metronome. All right, there you go. That's a little loop. Now I could keep going and play longer, but I'm not. Let's go back here. The idea is just to show you. There it is right around there. I'm going to zoom in and crop it. All right, so here's the loop, but the volume's all over the place. So the trick to that is go back here and surgically, the thing that Rabbit hates so much is surgical. That's funny. All right, so surgically fix it. Make a couple copies here. That way we don't mess up. Actually, I'm going to get rid of this, do that. All right. So we're going to crop it and then normalize just this section. We can always adjust that volume later. Make another copy. You see how I just dragged from the back end over here to switch it over so we don't lose the start point. All right. And then drag one more over. Oops, get rid of that. So here's this point, drag that point over, and then crop this, normalize this. Grab from this end, drag it over, then make another one, normalize this. We're only doing this just to get the, oops, I meant to crop it first and normalize it. Cool. Then drag from this end, same thing all the way over. This is the last bit, and we'll just go crop and then normalize. There we go. Put them back together like a surgeon. That test your loop if you want. Perfect loop. All right, cool. So now we'll get rid of all this. Just a little quick action there. By the way, if you're on the tablet, it's much easier. You can hold down delete and touch the pads. You don't have to do all this. I'm just doing it with the mouse because I'm on the computer. Okay, cool. So this one is what, 4 bars, I believe. If you want to know, just hit stretch and it'll tell you 4 bars. Boom. So go here, double up, double up. We're at 4 bars. Put the one in here and stretch it out to the 4th bar. You don't have to do this, but I like to check, make sure it's snap, done. So here's the main part. Here's the And by the way, you can change the colors in here. Like if you want your main part to be purple, I don't know why don't want it to be purple. Let's go with some of these other blue. And maybe you want the color of your intro to be green. And you can label them. So this could be like main riff. Be good to spell good. So you know what you're doing. Main riff, or you could put main chords. This could be intro label. Jeez, I'm gonna have to go back to grade school again for this one just to put simple words in. All right, so there you go. Intro, main riff, however you label your stuff. And now let's do the sequencing. So I want the intro to go into the main riff. I just drag and drop. Guess what? Just drag and drop on top of that. Add to the end or add to end. And then it sequences the song for you. So now you have, turn that metronome up. It's just playing the sequence. Let's put some drums. All right, we're gonna stop this. We'll go back here. Let's work on some drums. So we'll minimize AsatroLab for right now. And grab some drums out of the drums. And to make this kind of go quick, we'll just go into here. I don't like these drums, so never mind. We won't go into there. Where's my coupe? Yeah, there we go. Oh, croup. There we go. Filthy drums. These are already processed, so I don't have to do any work. That'll work. Just drag and drop the sample in like so. You see it keeps the name on here for you so you know what sample you use, which is really good. All right. Give me a rim. That'll work. Drag, drop. Next, give me a hat. By the way, you can set a template up if you have certain drums that you use all the time. We'll take that. You can make a template and save your template. So you don't have to do this, and all your drums will be already labeled and set up. I'm just doing it for you live. I like my drums in red. I don't know. Color, it's just a choice. I'm only doing this for visual purposes anyway, so you know what it is. Now, if you hold down edit, you can see it flashing. If you select all 4 of those tracks, which I can't do on the MacBook because I don't have access to hold edit down. At least right now, I don't think I do. But anyway, you could select each one. You could do them all at the same time, turn them on one shot, so you don't have to do. All right, so there's the drums. These are loud. I might choose to turn these down like 6 dB. This one, same thing. That's cool. All right, let's sequence some drums real quick. I could play it, but I don't feel like it. So we're just gonna program them just because it's quick. Simple snares placed, and I can adjust the velocities. Or if you want to play this, by all means, play it. I'm just doing this quick. Doesn't really matter. Put some kicks in. I usually would do my ghost kicks. We'll do the hi-hats on the there we go. Adjust the velocities. Go in. I'm going to touch the piano, hi-hat, note repeat. Turn on velocity. Turn record on. Switch up and get a different instrument. Guys, it's just that easy. I know it sounds crazy, but no, I mean, this is 4 drums. I programmed most of it, threw some hi-hats in using the note repeater up and down on the velocity, right? That way you get that variation in the track. Couple piano chords here, and using a different preset for a lead solo. Thank you, Crazy Rabbit. Yeah, I respect every approach too. And in fact, when I'm demoing what I'm showing you, this is just my approach or my thoughts, right? So I feel like I see this all the time where I watch people make loops and that's what they do. And if that's your bag, that's your bag. If you just get stuck in the loop, but I'm just showing you a way to get out of the loop and keep it pushing so that you can make more music and make it faster and finish it. And if you don't care for that, then yeah, this is probably not the stream for you. But I don't want to. I want to see people make music and put music out, and see some progress. And I think that's the thing that we're lacking is that there's probably people with hundreds of loops on their um, computers right now that will just sit there and do nothing. They may be actually really good too, but you'll never know because they're not going to put it out anyway. So let me show you this real quick. Sequencing again, same principle, drop, drag it here, add it to the end, and now you have your drums part. So, All right, so let's say I want to add something like that to it. Now, here's something I would love to see in Koala is what I'm doing, what I was just talking about, the ability to play and record and then maybe have a skip back where you can capture whatever you just played. In theory, we have it, but we don't. You have to press a pad to start it, but it would be nice to have it without having to do that. So anyway, just a thought. All right, so again, you have to turn on the metronome if you want it, hit record or hit play, and it's normal pad. Okay. Oops. I actually like it at the beginning there. All right, cool. So we're gonna crop at the beginning. I'm gonna keep that front part, even though I started a little late or a little early rather, which I actually don't mind. I like it. And then we shall go in and I'm gonna start it. I'm gonna try this. Start it a little bit earlier than normal. So let's see what that sounds like. Maybe off. Oh, it worked. Okay. Nice. Here's another thing I do that you might enjoy doing too that helps to speed up the work or not speed up the workflow, give you some variation. Make yourself a couple of these and make some changes in them. So for instance, like let's say on this next one, I'm gonna drop the drums out. Oops. I'm gonna drop the drums out on this last bar. Okay, so delete. So here's a different variation, right, of the same thing. So what we're gonna do is we're going to add this one to the end of this. And now we have 8 bars. And then what we're gonna do is get rid of this intro, grab it there, add to the end, and then we'll go in and add that little part that I just played. I think we did it right there, if I'm not mistaken. Let's see if that works. I can't remember if I did it there or a little bit further. Little variation, coming up with a drums drop. So you could go back and add more. So it's a little low. Let me go in and normalize it. I wouldn't normally normalize this much stuff, but you can always drop it back a few dBs if you need to, if you feel like it's too loud in the mix. So there you go. Let's try it again. Maybe change the color. Label it. it's called in the preset, red dress. So this is just a start. I can keep going and building and building and building. Um, that's pretty much the workflow. We need a base, obviously, so I would go in typically and explore maybe and just find like instruments if you know what you want, or you could go types, grab a bass. These aren't my typical bass things. I don't use synth bass as much. I mostly use like a real bass. That's just my preference. So my workaround for that would be throw it in, throw one in here. So you grab one off that you have, maybe like a preset, or you could open Trillion if you have it, but you don't have to. Let me do it without Trillion so you can see it, what I'm talking about. So if you guys know Hunter on, he does a lot of cool videos on, he has a chill hop pack that you can go in and grab a bass. He has some pretty good one-shot bass. That one sounds pretty real. As soon as it decides to stop playing, throw it in. So then there's a bass one-shot. For viewing purposes, we will change the color to this yellow looking mustard color. So let's close out Arteria for now, because otherwise it'll play into the piano. Click there, keyboard. And I usually set it for chromatic unless you know the scale. All right, and there you go. There's a keyboard. You can play it on screen. This little velocity button, if it's on, the lower you're up, the lower I meant to say. Let me move down here. The higher you hit on the keyboard, the lower the velocity. The lower you hit down here, it's going to be the higher velocity. All right, so let's record. All right, cool. That's it. Turn that off. And then you'll see here's the bass notes played inside this piano roll. Just using a single bass one shot. Hey. I had to stop it for Ali Star's comment. Real bass gang. Yes, absolutely. I'm all about real bass. I'd prefer to play the bass in here. If I'm not going to play a bass, then I'm going to use Trillion because that's the closest thing I find that sounds as good. And then obviously if you can get a real bass, that's the best way. So Where do we go next? Well, we probably want to make a chorus of some sort, or that could be the chorus, the one with the lead. So I might even make it like at least 8 bars to where it's not boring. But the point is, this is how you keep it going, right? Keep the flow going. Notice I have not touched banks B, C, or D. I've done most of this work right here on this one. So if you're able to do that, you don't need to keep every little nuance of something you did. Once you commit to it, just commit, right? And then you can start going from there. A one shot bass is plenty good if you don't have a regular bass, or, I mean, when I say regular, a real bass. But if you have a synth bass you prefer, you can use that. Like Trillion has synth and real bass sounds. Make sure you get a C note. You notice it's in the key of C, and extend it. Play it as long as you can until it fades out. So that way, when you're in the piano sequence using this note, right, then you have a nice sounding bass. Simple as that. All right. I think that's going to be it for this live stream. I got to get to my real job, which is not as nearly as fun as doing this, but that's part of how we pay bills, right? Everybody's got to have somewhere to stay and something to eat. Um, I'm way off. Might as well have what I crazy rabbit. It's okay. Like if you don't finish songs or something like that, that's okay. This isn't about a particular person. Everybody's got their own lane in music. There was a few years, about 5 years of my life, where I didn't want to make any songs. I just wanted to play my guitar and sit around and just do that. And I did that for like 3 or 4 years. Didn't have any interest in making songs. Then I got back into it, started making songs with Koala, and I started really trying to build stuff. Took a while to get a workflow that got me to where I was completing a song in Koala, but then once I understood the app, it got easier. So only AI makes finished songs. Yeah, that is true. AI will make you a finished song if you just want to use it, but at that point, I would just rather go listen to a record. You know, if I'm gonna do something with AI where I might as well just pull me some records from the 70s or 60s and just listen to music. There's no point in making that's not making music at that point. And I'm not like, listen, AI has its place, not necessarily in making music, but it definitely has its place. It is a great tool for research. And I think you can use it if you're going to use it in music. I think it should be to help you maybe come up with a title for an ideal you have, or um, to help you maybe think of some chord progressions that could get you a certain sound. That's my thoughts on AI when it comes to it's a great tool, but it makes a lot of mistakes because it's not a human, okay? Even I mean, we're human, we make mistakes, but it makes a ton of mistakes. So don't get caught up thinking that AI is going to perfect anything. It makes the most craziest perfected sounds. In fact, they sound so unreal. Yes, crazy rabbit. You do have to do you, but you can also learn. So I wouldn't say everything is should be there's no gatekeeping. It's just, do you want to improve and make better music, quality music, or do you want to just make some little bleep bloop loops? I mean, there is a difference. We can't deny there's a difference. Now, what you like and what you think is great music, that's subjective for sure. But when it comes to completing songs, if somebody else completes songs and you don't, then you can learn from that person, right? And take their ideas and build upon it. So there's no gatekeeping. It's just, it's like some people know how to cook. Some people think microwaving a meal is cooking. it's subjective if you like it. I mean, but when it gets down to it, if you take a real cook and put them in a chef and put them in a room, they're going to make you something that's quality. So do you want quality, or do you want to just say, just do whatever you want to do? And that's fine. You can do that too, but if you want to grow in music, you got to learn how other people do stuff. I didn't grow or learn this because it's just natural. I watched people like Prince and um, other artists who do stuff, even producers to this day. I still watch producers online who make music, and we're all different. I don't make the same thing they make, but I still learn from them. I take little bits and pieces from what they do and I build and make my own. I don't want you to make a song exactly like me, but you can take the techniques that I use and you can start building ideas. You should be improving and be better than me. But at the same time, there's no gatekeeping on how things are done. You can do it any way you want. This is one option. You get another guy who doesn't play music and he just samples, and he'll show you a different way. So just take it that way, as just a way of learning something different. But yeah, music is music. You can do it however you choose. Um, but personally, this is my way. And I've tried it other ways and it didn't work for me, and that's fine. But, take what you can take from it. But nobody is gatekeeping, nobody. So somebody else might listen to this and say this is a piece of trash music, which is fine. It could be. It's not my greatest work or the best thing I've ever done, but again, that's the thing. Yeah, if you're not trying to grow or get better, then that's okay. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, again, I just told you, I for 4 or 5 years, there might have been 3 years, didn't want to make any songs, just wanted to play a little guitar and lay around. But now that I'm making music and doing YouTube, I got to show you different stuff. I can't just be like doing the same thing over and over and over. So this is just my way of using Koala. I'm not in a actual DAW, and I'm using certain things like the Arturia Key Lab to create interesting sounds. So yeah. No, I respect everybody's way. I think it's a good thing to do that. And just note, if I show you something or tell you some, when I say this is how you do it, it doesn't mean this is the only way to do it. It just means this is how I do it, right? So don't get caught up in the words. Get caught up in the idea of what I'm using. So, but yeah. And everybody makes has subjective thoughts on. That's what the internet is full of, is subjective thoughts. Because even when let's say a doctor tells, and my wife's a nurse, so if a doctor tells you this is the way you should do it, what is a doctor really? An educated guesser, right? You might guess at something and have a little less knowledge than he has, but you might actually guess it right too, and say, "Oh, I think I've got the flu, or I think I got this." He goes in and says, "Based on the symptoms and my experience, you have this." Which way is right or wrong? Neither way, but one is just a little more experience, right? And that experience can help you grow. And when you stop growing, then life becomes what it is. And it can get pretty boring too, doing music and not growing. You end up finding yourself just literally in a loop doing the same old thing. And for me, I just can't do that. I'll get I'll get bored really quick. So again, just showing my thing. Again, do what you want to do as far as music. That's the way music works. So it's been fun. Appreciate each and every one of you stopping by. Hopefully you picked up something that helps you to grow. Maybe if it's just one thing you were able to learn, that's cool. I think the YouTube is a great way to learn stuff. And if I'm not learning, then I'm probably not going to be on YouTube, because there's no point for me to watch it just to look at mindless stuff. So, anywho, that's all I got for you. I'll see you guys on the next one. All right, I'm out.